Alright, so this is match 4 between Afreeca, Freecs, and Reunited in the OGN Apex Cup quarterfinals. I just did this intro and I didn't record it, so that's some fail. Anyway, let's get into this. This map usually favors defense, just to let you know. Standard. I really like Mei on this map. Her Blizzard is just super good, and there's not really any spot that she's weak in, because if she can't right click you with icicles in like a good high ground position, then she can usually mouse one you and freeze you. So standard. About time finally is on Zarya. Onigod, the guy who came into this and literally could only play Zarya, who's played everything but Zarya in this goddamn set, is finally on Zarya. But you switch Valataya off of it. Off of Tracer. Like, you put Unfixed on Tracer. You take one of the best Tracers in the world, Valataya, who finally has a Graviton to use his Pulse Bomb with, and you put him on Reaper, and you put your projectile player on hit scan. Fuck Reunited. Like, fuck this team right now. They're so retarded. They should lose this map. I didn't speak on the Genji. It's Arhan on Genji. I'm not surprised he's running Genji. He's a good Genji. Hasn't played anything else this series. I'm not surprised. This Reaper versus the team they're playing against is okay. It's not great. I think they were expecting Recry to be on the Roadhog again, but he's not. So could be good or bad, especially because they're running Tracer and Reaper, which are both Tracer. If Tracer nails headshot, she's a tank buster, and they have a tank buster and Reaper. So I think they were expecting the Roadhog, but Recry's not running it, so it doesn't really matter. So they might switch off the Reaper here, but I mean, it's still good to kill the Mei, so I would imagine that they still stick with it.
Back in there, and they're not going to go for it though. They're going to be playing Reinhardt and Reaper.
Oh, Soldier 76. Soldier 76. Maybe. Wait for it. No, he went over to the Reaper. Okay. So, yeah, unfixed on the Mei. Interesting.
I didn't see the hold that they're doing. Alright.
Yeah,
Interesting hold. Interesting, to say the least. So, Recry just dropped down, but Recry's standing on this ledge. He's pretty safe doing that, being a Mei, and the rest of the team is standing here. That's standard. Arhan being up this far is a little bit confusing to me, but I mean, he has deflect and he has good reflexes, so I'm not too surprised. It's just, you don't really have anything for this Reinhardt shield up here to spam with, because Arhan's here. I actually like the Mei here because you can try to force a fight, and if they don't know the Mei's here, you can potentially wall like right here, and your team can collapse into this space. And it's unlikely that the team went around the cliff edge to help this, so they have to walk back around the other side of the payload, because generally you want to stay on this side of the payload to just get the better advantage against this high ground, using this as cover. So they have to walk back around this payload, and if if Adam lands a charge on this wall that they could put here, that'd be really good, but it doesn't end up, the kind of strategy doesn't end up working just because of where Reunited decide to walk in this kind of high ground. I don't like that Arhan is up here. It's going to force his dash away, and then he's got to wait 8 seconds before he can dash again to reset, and he's already half health. I don't like this. And because Recry is on the ground right here behind him, and like, look, you still have the shield that's sitting up here. Like, Adam's just like sitting up here saying, hi, how's it going? Just to the enemy team, you just ask them how they're doing. And Recry's down here. What are you doing down here? What is Recry doing down here? He's not doing anything with the wall. They're not baiting anything with the wall. If he puts the wall right here, the payload's going to break it by moving forward. Because, yeah, Arhan is contesting it. But he's not going to be contesting it for very long with the Zarya shield already gone. Him being half health. And him having to probably use dash to get away from Winghaven and Unfixed. So, I don't like this at all. And it's just like, what are you planning to do on the Mei here? And it's very likely that the Oni God, who was on or high ground, could walk around to this side, force, potentially catch him off guard and force him to block, or Recry has to walk into this gas station, and Unfixed can wall him into the gas station, giving him really bad wall opportunities. And if they force a fight onto this high ground with Arhan's dash down and like Recry taking a while to unjoin before he can Maywall boost onto the top high ground, this could be bad for them. But there's not really a way for them to force on high ground. But like, okay, so he dashes, Arhan dashes away. Like I said, Unfixed gets this wall for free. They're on the, some of them are on the other side of the wall, which is good because they're trying to recover from Recry's fuck up. But Recry's positioning causes this. Like, he's ice blocked in front of this. He's gonna die. There's no way to save him because they don't have Zarya bubble. How is Recry alive right now? My god, did they ever save the shit out of that kid. And they killed Morte? Alright, well, Reunited just played that horribly. Morte shouldn't have died. Recry should have died. Great wall by Recry here, forcing the Reinhardt switch off and getting this kill. Now you can keep skirmishing because you have the advantage even though Arhan's dead. Another good wall off. Like, they need to get through this choke point because Recry's just going to keep walling off and picking off people. Unfixed already has Blizzard, so this point's gone. Okay, because Unfixed hit all those shots, he already has Blizzard. So this team fight is lost because of Unfixed. Jhin decides to throw a Graviton onto the cart. Why? I have zero idea. Recry was up on here on the sledge out of position. Adam is dead on the cart out of position. There's no way he was going to be able to swing in this. Dayfly, I don't think he has nuke right now, so I don't think he can throw nuke into the Graviton. Arhan died, and I think he's just coming back now. Like, he's just getting back into position now, but like his entire team's dead, so he just needs to leave. But at least they force that sound barrier, I guess. But I think Cruz just wasted sound barrier for no reason. Like, Unfixed just carried this fight, and Jhin just throws away one of the biggest ultimates in the game for zero reason.
This is a lot that they're going for, but they are going to push Unfixed back and Recry.
Okay, or not. Recry doesn't die. He gets a Blizzard off. Fights this back. Arhan's back. He kills that. He's somehow contesting the cart from this far away. Just like to point this out. This is Mei's ice block. This is where the cart is. Pretty sure that's a sizable distance. How the fuck is he contesting that? Besides the point. He's probably dead now, but he got 2. No, Jhin can shield him out of that. He'll live. Good Maywall. Winghaven should be dead. Unfixed is super out of position. What's Unfixed doing over here? Okay, well, Unfixed just committed suicide because he's an idiot. Arhan came back and cleaned up that fight with a Blizzard. They should have lost that fight, but somehow Recry had Blizzard at the same time as Unfixed. I'm really confused how. Jhin showing Zarya mechanics with rocket jump.
They have an Earth Shatter right now, but I think that Winghaven's going to be able to crack this if they go with the nano.
Okay. What? So they ran him on Reaper, and now they switched him off Reaper. Now Valataya is on McCree. Why wasn't he on McCree 10 seconds into the game when they saw the entire team standing up here with that shield? And they could have just pressed tab and seen what they had. Why was he still on the Reaper? Why did you switch him off of the Reaper if you were going to commit to the Reaper? Why is he about to die? So many questions. Also, like, the fact that I'd just like to point out this. You know, nonchalantly, just a bit of a difference here in Zarya's skill between the players. That's just pure skill between the charges. Dayfly already used a nano boost, so I'm not surprised about that. They have the nano boost, but Unfixed doesn't have Dragon Blade. He's up here. He doesn't have Dragon Blade because he also just switched off of Mei. So you're running Genji Reaper, Genji McCree, which I really like as a comp. Is like a DPS duo. Why are you switching to this now? Is my question. Like, yes, you're not burning too much ult because you just used it, but why didn't you just start with this comp? Like, were you that scared of a Roadhog? Like, are you that unconfident that Valataja can't kill a Roadhog? I'm really confused by that. Really confused by that, but, you know, it's whatever. They're gonna lose this fight again. They're gonna have to lose another fight before they can really take Afreeca Blue on a fight. Recry is just sitting here on this side, and he's just getting wall after wall after wall, and they're not dealing with him. And, like, Recry is impressing me with his Mei play, honestly.
It would be a disaster if they didn't even push this through point A.
Yeah, absolutely. This would be the
They have a minute 20 left, and then they still haven't fought the fight where they forced them to use ultis yet. So now they're trying to like even out ultis without forcing them to use anything by dry pushing. Onigod's feeding for some reason. Arhan ends up dying to Wing Haven by overextending. And Recry dies. And they Zarya ult. Interesting. Okay, so Jin uses his Zarya ult when both his DBS are dead. And Reunited just threw away a Graviton on the Blizzard when they shouldn't have.
Reunited moving that payload. Blue though pushing back. Not a whole lot of defense there. Winghaven did go down. Yeah, they're gonna just move the rest of the
Why is Reunited like but Reunited for this next push now that they forced the ultis out, even though Afreeca Blue shouldn't have, they can win this next fight.
They are going to have to be super efficient, and Arhan in this next fight will have the Dragon Blade available. They've got to shut him down, and they've got to use this one ult they have super well.
See what they can do, man.
Reunited should win this fight, but Onigod's really heavily looking for this Graviton, so they should know it's coming.
It's a Dragon Blade. Onigod getting very low. Arhan takes him down with his own Dragon Blade. Goes for Dayfly. There's kills on Dayfly and Adam. As Reunited maybe will push this thing.
I would have preferred Arhan to actually hold that Dragon Blade.
But he's gonna go down. Winghaven gets him, so they are gonna push through the next
I would have preferred if Arhan held that Dragon Blade. I think it did force probably another ult that they didn't have to use. Recry doesn't get to the point and just dies. That's really bad. That forces Jin to play really stupidly and just gave them more ult charge. That's pretty bad. But I mean, they're kind of even on ult charge, so it didn't matter too much. Well, they're even on ult charge now, so it doesn't matter too much. It kind of mattered in the long haul. Unfixed, sprinting at Dayfly. And now the same thing that happened on Numbani where they just staggered deaths is happening now. They're just staggering deaths to Reunited because they're not together. And they're not in a good position. I don't know. That's concerning. They're just not respecting this at all. Like, they switched to a dive comp and they're just not respecting it. I don't know. There's 45 seconds left, so that's about 2 fights. Jin's about to have ulti. Dayfly has ulti. Okay, they're about to have 4 ults, so they should use 3 for 1 fight, and then they'll probably have 2 for the next. Valataja is finally on this. By the time it switches off McCree, and finally is over to a Tracer when Onigod is on Zarya, but that went about how it should have. I don't think it really matters that Valataja is on. Honestly, they're not playing around this kid at all. He's like doing plenty of work, but he's not doing anything work. Recry wasting an ultimate for no reason. Recry thought there was only 1 fight when there was 2 fights, so he literally just threw the game in a way. I'm not sure if it matters if you get... Yeah, okay. Cruz dies. Valentine is only one on. Oh no, Winghaven's still alive. But I don't think it matters. But that was almost awful. They almost threw really hard here. So this map favors defense, so I'm not too surprised that they ended it there. I think the comps that Afreeca Blue's been running makes it so they could come back and win this. But it's likely that they could run some weird comp where Reunited actually can beat them. I don't know.
And the sound barrier was also up, so they had some shields to work with on that approach. And I think you just throw it on.
I think Cruz needs some surgery on that nose though.
They can engage so fast they can jump over it. The zone not effective against a dive comp like that.
It's pretty big.
You can see the idea.
Pretty sure you could land a plane on it.
You can see how it just wasn't thought through very well.
Well, okay, it would have been good if it had been the comp that.
I wonder if Reunited's actually going to use their heads and play a comp and not switch off of it 20 fucking times.
I think Afreeca got away with it there. They Reunited.
We'll see.
Got a window in to maybe even push that through into the second point, but they don't get it.
As it is, see that the gas thing is there because that's where the payload's going to run out of gas. It's going to stop right there. Fitting, isn't it? Freecs Blue don't really need to push this all that far, honestly.
Can Recry not hover Widow? Make me love my dream. I didn't even know there was a hitbox there that you could hit with edge dashing. Thanks for showing me that. I'm fixed.
All three of the escort and payload maps, even though that is their expertise.
I don't mind what Reunited's running for a comp here. It's very, very standard. Holding this high ground, I prefer Valentine on McCree, but he's been doing lots of work on Tracer, so I would understand why they want to keep him on Tracer. But I mean, standard. Is Recry actually going to run this? No way. Alright, Recry is pulling at my heartstrings. He's actually going to run this. So standard. Afreeca Freecs is running a dive comp, so standard. I would prefer to see a McCree. 100% prefer to see a McCree. But I mean, this isn't awful, especially because it's Valentine and he's been playing very well, and they finally have a combo to work with about time. Unfixed being on the Genji, I think Mei is super good on this point, so I really think this should be a Mei. That being said, Genji's not bad, as you saw Arhan did a lot of work last on Afreeca Blue's defense, so I don't hate it. Oh, I meant to say this is standard as well with the Ana. Recry on Widow. He's looking for picks. It's actually awful versus what Reunited's running. I think they were expecting this McCree as well with this. I'm not really sure what Recry is going to be aiming at. It's very hard to kill a Tracer. It's kind of hard to kill a Genji. You'll control the sight lines on which they can peek, but they can still get on top of you and force you to do things. And with this entire team, you're going to be diving in here, and Valentine can just run to the back line, pick off him or Recry real quick, and then return to the fight, and like half their DPS is just gone. So I don't expect him to stay on this Widow for very long.
I think that's honestly going to help them a lot. Widowmaker. They go with it. Yeah, but Recry now on the Widowmaker. Aim for the early pick, seeing if they can maybe get the ball rolling by themselves a bit more.
He should have got his team to scout for him harder, and he fucks up. Okay, they definitely know now. Cruz almost screws up. My god. Valentine is just gonna go have fun with Recry, and they don't have any way to deal with them. Recry should be on McCree or Roadhog. They literally lose this first fight because of Valentine.
I think that's not a good call. So they realize it as well, or do they?
No, they don't yet.
Does not realize it. In fact, he's gonna try again.
Why are they still? Why is Recry still on this Widowmaker? Why?
They are disrupting them though, so as they push them off in big early.
Okay, Recry, impress me with your hit scan because you haven't yet.
Oh, that was so close. A recall just in time for Volatile.
I think that was a mistake on Dayfly's part. He should have just let Recry kill him. Recry's doing absolutely nothing.
Meanwhile, Unfixed now pulling up the Dragon Blade. Look out, Grandma! No!
Unfixed
Dayfly goes down.
almost dies. I thought he was gonna die. Thought that was a little bit ambitious, but he doesn't end up dying. Winghaven finally on Reinhardt, by the way. I noticed that, but I don't know. Afreeca's running this like weird dive comp with a Widowmaker, and he's finally over to the Tracer. But I mean, you can chase Volatile around and somewhat control what he does with the Tracer, but then you're just relying on Arhan to do all of your team's damage with Jhin and Adam. So I guess it's not awful. I just prefer anything else. Like, Recry's over here fighting Morte, and I understand that, but I really wish that Recry on this Tracer would just chase around Volatile and just stop Volatile from doing anything. Because Volatile is doing 100 times more than Recry is, and he could be stopping Volatile from doing anything by just chasing him around with just Tracer versus Tracer. So that's pretty big misplay. How? Okay. Okay, I might put Arhan in like my top like 3 Genjis in the world, to be honest. He might have broken the 3rd. Like, he's playing magnificently well in the recent Genji performances I've been seeing.
Wow, nice reflect. Volatile gets 2 as well. Volatile has his pulse bomb now. Afreeca Freecs blue.
Or, I mean, Unfixed. I keep getting swapped between the 2 Genjis. Unfixed is actually playing really well. Or at least this set. He's like showing like a top 3 performance. But I mean, Arhan is doing magnificent things though this game. Can't wait for them to like come up with like tournament skins or something. Like, it's actually so annoying. Like, tell the difference between the 2. That Graviton Surge is horrible, and Arhan doesn't get the reset, but he ends up killing Morte because Morte's blind. Yeah, Reunited is just gonna win this because that Graviton was pointless.
I don't know. I gotta say, I'm really shocked about their hero choices for Recry on this.
And Winghaven's just getting work done with these Earth Shatters. Like, they have no way to deal with reinforces Earth Shatters outside of Adam's bubbles, but like, Adam hasn't been able to get doing bubbles as, I don't know. He hasn't been able to get good bubbles to like contest in that manner because he has to protect his team with his bubbles. Wow.
What a hero, man. Pulse bomb comes in, lands it on Dayfly. Great stick right there. And I think it's...
And Volatile is just hard carrying them right now. Like, there's literally nothing to talk about other than like their comps were both fine. They're just getting outplayed because they have the wrong strategy. That's really all that happened in that game. It's just Afreeca had a great defense, and then they just didn't have a good offensive strategy, and they never pushed as a team or dealt with anything. Like, where's the McCree that can deal with the Genji or the Tracer? Like, I don't know. Also, the Widow was just like a minute and a half of wasted time, which was really bad. I don't know why Recry literally didn't switch off it immediately when they pressed tab and saw the enemy team comp. That was really bad.